around here through the seasons, and then some of these are about Survivor Philippines. Here's one from Tyler Sloan. He wants to know, if Tyson didn't mess up the vote on Heroes versus Villains, what was going to be the game plan moving forward, and who was your final three on that season?
I was in tight with Tyson and Sandra. And I would say I don't know that he actually messed up the game plan. Like, he made a mistake. It was horrendous what he did. He knows he did. But, like, with Survivor strategy-wise, you need to think about, like, a lot of people think the best way to approach the game is to figure out what's the best strategy for me. And that will only get you so far in your thinking. You actually have to think about what's the best strategy for everybody else. And how does that affect my strategy? And that was one thing that I never really considered, because it seemed like a no-brainer in that vote for him to go along with it. And, like, after the fact, he and I, we became friends, went to Australia together. We never really talked about it, you know what I mean? But I have to believe in his mind that he felt that by voting the way he did, that it was going to be Parvati anyway. Russell was never going to give her the idol, so that in this way he could still stay in their good graces, and I would never know about it. Obviously, It didn't work out. But moving forward, it was me and Sandra and Tyson, and depending who went that night, either Russell or Parvati, the other one would go the next night.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Heroes and Villains is we came to Samoa to shoot that show, and there were, how many people were on that season? 17?
20.
There were 20 people. Man, that's a huge difference too. The dynamics of strategy change from 20 people to 18 people, like, dramatically. It's like, it would take me a real long time to explain it, but it's like a huge difference. Anyway, we got there, and there's 19 people that have played the game before, and then all of a sudden one new guy. And you know how they do the interviews before the game starts, or right when it starts, and they say, who's going first? And immediately I say, look, if this guy's on my tribe, he's going first, talking about Russell.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's an unknown quantity. I don't know anything about him, and he obviously had to do something to get to this point. You know what I mean? That they're going to bring him back for another season, and he was on the season before, that he had to have done something that was pretty ridiculous. So that was my thinking going into it. It ended up changing to, who was it? Randy, because we just couldn't rally at that point. We're losing, and we're like, all right, we got to keep him around because he's a young guy and stuff. Randy was older, and that was it. And it went from there. And so it would have been Parvati or Russell, and then the other one, and then myself, Tyson, and Sandra were in the alliance. Coach and Jerry was on the outs. I mean, Jerry I never trusted at all. I mean, she's still harboring whatever from All Stars going into Heroes and Villains. At one point, I think she said something on the beach to me, something like, take care of me and I'll take care of you. I was like, oh, that's pretty touching. You know, like, really? Really? So there was never any, trust there that I could actually bank on.
Yeah.
And Danielle, like, here's what I should have done, and I didn't do. Like, you talk about hindsight, and you can Monday morning quarterback, like I said, like, after the fact, you know how it is, you think about what could I have done differently, and I actually thought about this, and I didn't do it, and just because, and it's my own fault, I was fixated on breaking up Russell and Parvati, and it was an error in my judgment, but what I should have done was rally Sandra. Oh, it was Courtney was a fourth in our alliance. It was Sandra, Courtney, me, and Tyson. And I should have just rallied the four of us, and we should have just got rid of Danielle. Because with Danielle gone, there was no leg to stand on. And I actually said it. And I said it to Tyson. I go, you know what? There's four of us. We could just get rid of Danielle and then get one of them the next time. But it was just like we weren't sure, and Coach was with us, and then he wasn't with us, and it was after Tyson's vote went wrong that I think Coach lost faith in the alliance, and he was able to be swayed by Jerry. So then ultimately I was gone next. Because still, if myself, Courtney, Sandra, Coach, and Jerry stayed together, then we still could have got them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know Jerry wasn't on, but we could have at least forced a tie. And Coach knew that, and he kind of took the easy way. But, like, you got to play to win in this game. You don't play to go far. And I get that you can't go far without surviving another day. But ultimately, if you don't have all your ducks in a row, you know what I mean, then you're not going to get past. You're only going to make it so far.
Yeah. Well, I think this is something that's interesting about your game. And I don't know if it's like the poker mentality or that's why you're a good poker player, but it's almost like if there was a computer that ran the simulation of you on Survivor, it's like, you're probably going to get to the end a certain number of times, and then a certain number of times you're going to be out early, but there's not going to be a lot of times.
You know what, dude? I would rather it no other way.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't want, to me, the absolute most devastating thing would be to finish fourth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
good.
fifth. To get close and then to have to vote for somebody else to win. I'm kind of an all or nothing guy, and I like the way it ended up turning out. It's indicative of my style of play. But having said that, Rob, there are literally multiple ways that you can win this game, in multiple different personalities. And what works for me won't work for everybody. I'm the type of person that if I'm on the bus, I have to drive the bus. I can't ride the bus. I can't take a backseat approach to this game. It's just not in my mentality. It's not in my personality. It won't work. So unless I drive, I won't, I can't play the game as a backseat player. Not to say that a backseat player can't play the game, play it well, and win, because that's been done. It's a different strategy. But you need to know who you are as a person and as a player before you get to that island and know how you're going to play.